Brigade presents The Realty Debate, powered by Reliance Home Finance with Manisha Natarajan.
The state and the health of commercial office space is a key indicator of the economy and how it's doing. And if you look at India's top cities, it's Bangalore and Hyderabad, two southern cities which lead the pack on office space demand in the first half of 2016. Well, there should be a rub-off on residential real estate as well and result in a revival of demand for housing in these three cities. Is that visible? Is it likely to happen in the near future, or is it still some time away? Joining me today to discuss the real estate of India's top three southern cities is, of course, Jayshree Sharma, Vice Chairman and MD Shobha Limited. Also, Ajit Chodia joins us, Managing Director of Olympia Group, Jaggi Marwa, Managing Director, South India, JLL India, and Sahil Kapoor, ED, Remax India. So again, we've got all corners covered. Mr. Sharma, I'm going to come straight to you. I mean, looking at the Bangalore and Hyderabad numbers in terms of commercial office space, and right before the break, we talked about how larger economic indicators seem to be, outlining some good news. Yet, when I look at the Bangalore market, it's never looked more uncomfortable than how it is now. Why is it? Is it just a question of too much supply which needs to get out of the market in residential?
Manisha, I do not know why do we feel that way. I think the residential market as well also is able to keep up pace with the commercial absorption what is happening. We may be today launching many more projects of larger sizes than we have done it ever before. And Bangalore being the largest end user market, you find developers from all parts of India. You find that the private equity guys also are more proactive here, and in that scenario, sometimes when we look at like our dream acres with 7,000 units, it will be considered as part of that 80,000 to 100,000 the way people talk about as the inventory. But with JLL only, we have gone ahead and talked about that whether the inventory is declining or inventory is increasing. And they have come out with their studies that inventories have started declining since last 2 quarters. This was done about 2 quarters back.
Okay.
Our Bangalore performance for the last financial year has been the best ever. So I still believe that yes, vis-a-vis the kind of launches we expected to do better, but in absolute numbers with the kind of price stability we have, we still remain positive and optimistic about the Bangalore market.
Okay, fair enough. And to corroborate what you've said, yes, the launches, especially in the first quarter of 2016 with 6,000 new residential units, it actually represented a 26% increase over the previous quarter. Jaggi, Marwa, do you agree with the fact that, okay, the last 2 quarters, it's not about green shoots? I mean, Bangalore is already established that sales have started picking up and in a very, very reasonable number, because I can see supplies picked up, but have sales numbers picked up? Has demand picked up?
I think Mr. Sharma's comment on the JLL report, which we released about 1.5 quarters ago, it directly reflects that the story is not so gloomy as it actually appears. Okay. Sales velocity has picked up. There's no doubt about it, and I think there is a huge difference between the numbers that we were doing maybe 3 quarters ago and the numbers we're doing in the last 2 quarters. I think that has significantly increased. What has also increased is the actual creation of jobs which has added to the city of Bangalore. If you take a dipstick survey of what has happened in the first quarter and the first half of this year, you must have read a report that was released that Bangalore is #1 in terms of the absorption of office space, and that directly translates to the residential take up also. For every 100,000 square feet of office supply, there are almost 1,000 jobs being created, and so that effect is actually going to rub off very fast into the residential side. What was not happening was in the recent past was that there was a lag between the real absorption. So the gross leasing area and the net leasing area, there was a big gap. That is slowly going to come up in the next 3-4 quarters when new supply hits the market.
Okay.
in terms of office space.
All right. So then, Mr. Sharma, I'm going to hop back to you on Bangalore before we move on to other cities. Chennai will be next. So are you saying that there's some pricing power which has come back into the developer's hand, or do you believe that no, right now, looking at the situation, you would like to keep your products within that affordable range? When I talk about affordable, I'm talking about city affordable, not really the government definition of affordable, and not at least start raising prices in 2016?
I think the pricing power will take a few more quarters. At the same time, we also need to recognize that the construction costs also are not going up.
Right.
Earlier, we used to struggle with the uncertainties of construction costs going up. When we are about to complete the project, we realize no inventory, and the prices we have paid for the construction has gone up considerably very high. Now you have good quantum of inventory also, good quantum of absorption also, and fair rate of construction cost. So we are quite happy selling at the current prices, where we are able to protect our margins and sustain the volumes, and this is what customers are also liking.
All right. So before Ajit Chodia, what's the situation on Chennai? Let's shift focus. Bangalore definitely has been a big winner. In fact, it's made it to the world's top 20 cities in terms of commercial office space and the future. But Chennai seems to have lost out. You've also had the big floods in December, which further dampened the sentiments. An election behind you. Are you as hopeful as Bangalore developers are for your city?
Yeah, I think if we really look at the Bangalore today, the Bangalore is choked. So if you said that there has been a rub-off effect into Hyderabad, the Hyderabad office market has gone up. I am sure in the days to come, Chennai is definitely going to see increased absorption of office space. You have seen, Karke, the trend. We have been consistently absorbing something like 4 to 5 million square feet of office space for the last 10 years. When the markets have been good or bad, this 4 million to 4.5 million square feet of office space has been going. So in the days to come, we are looking at the supply has got to come up. The Chennai developers have still not geared up, so that is a problem here. The land price is high, but I'm sure the government will be coming out with some sort of a policy to
How confident are you, Mr. Chodia? Your problem seems to be a lot to do with the government. I mean, there is a Mahindra which is wrapped out and said not Chennai. I mean, really, let's be honest. They've actually brought back their team on land acquisition and said no. So what's making you so hopeful? I'm sorry, this is a city that I so adore, and a part of my family lives there, and I would love for it to do very well. But you have had no change in government. Why are you hoping there'll be a change of heart with the same government?
I think, see, the signals have been very, very positive. See, after the new government has come, we have also had discussions with the political bosses as well as with the bureaucracy. And the direction seems to be very clear that ease of business, yes, that is what is going to come in the days. And there is no going back on that. Between the whatever you call this new the 201 the government which is there versus the earlier one, there is definitely a shift. The last 2 years, 3 years, yeah, I agree there could have been a much slowdown. But if you look at historically in the last 10 years or 15 years, we have been done reasonably well as far as industry is concerned and IT. Yes, last 3-4 years could have been a little bit of an issue, but signals here have been very, very, very positive.
Okay. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for your sake that the positive signals do turn out to actually good business. From a perspective of someone who sells in these cities, Sahil Kapoor, tell me, Bangalore versus Chennai, everyone's hopeful about Bangalore. It has a great story going other than infrastructure, but we are not here to, we understand those are issues, but do you have the same confidence about Chennai as Ajit Chodia? Do you think sales are likely to pick up? Because so far numbers don't support that at all. Sahil Kapoor?
See, we would personally put our money on Bangalore because even the commercial activity has been pretty good in that particular region. Chennai, if compared to Bangalore, I would not really want to put my money over there, because it's been a slow city. The commercial development, even the residential development it's a slow city as compared to Bangalore. So, I mean, we have done way better in Bangalore in terms of sales because of the job opportunities, the startup culture, the IT sector, and the commercial activity. We have been able to do pretty well in Bangalore. Okay. Chennai is still far behind. I think a couple of years still to go for Chennai to match up with the kind of numbers which Bangalore has been doing.
Of course, that we all agree to. I mean, there's a lot of catching up to do. But Jaggi Marwa, are you as hopeful as Ajit Chodia is that ease of doing business in Chennai is now likely to improve? I mean, the government, the noises that are coming from the government will actually translate into action?
I think it's like Ajit said, I think the mood is slightly positive. To say the least right now, but honestly I think from the perspective of what Chennai plagues from in commercial development is that you don't have too many city players who are actually putting money to do commercial development there. So they typically depend on other city developers like the Rahejas from Mumbai or the Tatas who come into Chennai, or now Embassy from Bangalore or Prestige from Bangalore. So these are the guys who actually, these are the developers who actually are putting in money in a city in Chennai. The big problem is the Chennai developers are all not putting money in commercial real estate. That's number one. Number two, from a residential perspective, I think the projects are not the large projects. You don't see the large mixed-use development projects in Chennai, which is also becoming a big problem because with plaguing infrastructure, every city is going to have these huge problems where people want to work, live, play at one location. I think that's the trend, and I think Chennai needs to buck up in terms of getting the large mixed-use developments into those cities, into that city.
Mr. Chodia, it comes as a little bit of a negative for you that even outsiders and large consultants believe that Chennai developers need to take a larger punt with commercial real estate. Is it because you believe that there aren't enough takers for Chennai's commercial and office space? What's the problem here? Because you yourself have been a big player.
No, I don't. Yeah, in a way it is right what they say. The local developers have not taken up to commercial real estate for the simple reason that they have burnt their fingers in the early 2000, in the early part when 2004, 2005, when there was a proliferation of IT with the SOPs being given for an higher FSI. So development came in all areas, and especially in the far-flung areas, and there it was becoming difficult to lease. There are certain areas where the leasing has not taken place even after 7 years and 8 years after the building has been built. So people have found this residential to be a much easier option to develop. It is the point of least resistance. But going forward, I am sure now the market is, there will be a shift from Bangalore. Let's accept it, Bangalore is choked with 10 million and 11 million square feet of office space, and you come onto outer ring road, it takes you 20 minutes to come out of a campus itself, and thereafter into the road it takes you 2 hours to reach your house. So that is the reason probably Hyderabad is seeing a traction, and I see no other place which can fulfill whatever is there in Bangalore in terms of talent other than Chennai and Hyderabad.
Okay, so let's shift focus on Hyderabad. Let's keep our fingers crossed for Chennai's real estate market and hope both residential and commercial will see better days to come, but it still seems a little distant. The fact that Bangalore is choking up and Hyderabad's the beneficiary of it, Mr. Sharma, that's a fact, isn't it? And it's something that everybody is noticing in a big way.
See, what is a fact, it definitely will get noticed, Manisha. And whatever the panelists have been telling, there is an element of truth. The beauty is that what I personally believe, the systems and the processes and the ability of the government to execute whatever it desires, in Chennai it is the highest. You must have also observed that when the Telangana was carved out from Andhra Pradesh, initial feedback about Hyderabad and as well as about Telangana state was not that encouraging. It is probably after the visit of this Apple CEO Mr. Cook and the way the IT minister and KTR has handled the whole scenario, there is a renewed optimism. And at the same time, the kind of promises, giving penalty, time-bound clearances and other things has helped ensuring that Hyderabad comes back in the radar, which is a very good sign. Similarly, I personally believe that what we are commenting today about is the Bangalore's infrastructure challenges and the Chennai's whatever has happened in last 3-4 years. I think both the governments in Chennai as well as in Karnataka, they have taken very positive and fast steps. In Karnataka, in Bangalore, we have a dedicated, very senior minister looking after the Bangalore's infrastructure. 7,000 crore from the state budget has been earmarked to improve upon the infrastructure. On a daily basis, things are getting reviewed. Similarly, I am getting the feedback this time that in Tamil Nadu, Chennai, where Mr. Ajit Chaudhary, what he has been telling, there is an element of truth. Things have started improving. It will take time for us to get notice. Chennai, I personally believe, has far better infrastructure, far greater talent than any other city. Save and except that Bangalore's climate, nobody can beat.
All right. So you're also very hopeful about Chennai. I'm glad to hear that 3-4 years has really pulled that city down. It has a lot of potential in terms of talent, infrastructure, and of course land also available without getting choked up. Jaggi Marwa, place Hyderabad in this context. I mean, it was an easy spillover. It's also a very good PR story, Hyderabad is. And going forward though, there's also a question of it not having enough A-grade office space. So if you were to weigh out Hyderabad vis-a-vis, let's say, a Chennai in terms of who's going to move forward faster, where would you put your bets?
I think between the two cities of Chennai and Hyderabad, Chennai has definitely, got his act together in terms of infrastructure. In fact, I was reviewing the entire network of rail connectivity in Chennai. Suburban railways, metro rail, peripheral rail, suburban rails are all connected today in such a manner that over the period of next 2 to 3 years, you will see the real, people will benefit a lot in terms of, the connectivity that the government has invested in Chennai. I think the only issue that Chennai would face is the prolonged approval and statutory approval issues that Chennai is always plagued with. But having said that, on the other side, Hyderabad, I think with the proactive governance and the way things are moving, definitely Hyderabad is definitely going to score, in especially the commercial real estate side. You will see a lot of renewed interest, especially from the private equity side. The private equity funds are slowly landing into Hyderabad, understanding the markets better, because there's a huge demand-supply mismatch which was there last 2-3 years. Will surely get a big lot of affection from a lot of players across the country into Hyderabad.
Sahil, what's your own summary of Hyderabad? Because we keep talking about, we look at price appreciation. Now Hyderabad was a market which was stuck for so long, so any improvement obviously looks much better than, let's say, a price improvement in Gurgaon or even in some of the Bangalore cities. But are you seeing real demand in Hyderabad in some of the key markets?
See, in the last couple of years, with the political and the social environment getting better in Hyderabad, I think the demand has definitely risen. We have seen a lot of NRIs renewing their interest in the Hyderabad market. A lot of people have been coming back. There was a lot of shift from Hyderabad to Bangalore. There was a lot of migration of people which has now stopped. In fact, what has happened is, and what has given the advantage to Hyderabad, is that the Amravati and Vijayawada belt, it has not been so promising as the claims were. So that has again given advantage to Hyderabad. And with a lot of companies, IT companies like Apple and Google showing their interest in Hyderabad, in the high-tech city, I think a lot of people are interested in investing money. In terms of the apartment, the affordability factor is still there, which is not so much there as far as Bangalore and Chennai is concerned. You can still get an apartment at around 40 odd lakhs in the main livable area in Hyderabad, which is not the case in Bangalore and Chennai.
So you're saying that it's still better priced.
We definitely see a lot of traction coming in from a lot of cities in that city.
Okay, fair enough. So the final word, let me get Jaggi Marwa to actually give me a final rating of these three cities. In terms of 2016, we've already got Mr. Desi Sharma saying that we are not going to see any price revival. So let's assume that there's not going to be any price revival. But in terms of Resi sales revival, Bangalore is already seeing a substantial sales revival. Hyderabad is also seeing a sales pickup. Chennai, do you think, will end up seeing some beginnings of green shoot?
I think it will be still, from a residential perspective this year and the next 6 months would be Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai in that order, and that would be my gut feel. In the commercial side, I would say Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, purely because there's enough supply coming into Chennai.
All right, gentlemen, I'm going to conclude there. Thank you so much for joining me. It's always interesting to pitch one city against another. Having said that, a buyer isn't going to buy in Bangalore. If he wants to live in Chennai, he will come to you, Mr. Chodia, and ask for a good apartment. But it's you know, and this is not a market for investors at all, frankly. We are still saying it's a market only ripe for end users, not to wait on the sideline, but re-enter the market and find their best bargain. But thanks very much. It's always interesting to have you on board and hear out all these interesting points about what's happening in these southern cities. That's it from me on the Realty Debate, the premier platform to ring in and ring out the big issues in real estate. So don't forget to tune in every Thursday, 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. That's when we come to you. Your feedback is always welcome. You can reach us on property@ndtv.com or just follow us on our Facebook and Twitter handle with your comments. Always happy to get your suggestions and feedback. Goodbye.